Here we have AP calculus AB problem. Okay, let's go to the question. If f of x equals to cube root of x square positive 7 times e to the power of x, then what is the value of f prime of 1? So that is, we have to find the first derivative for the function f of x. That is, we have to find f prime of x, and then we have to plug in x equals to 1 to get the value of this f prime of 1. Okay, our first work is to find the derivative. That is the first derivative of this given function. So for that, what we have to do is, we have to write this cube root as exponent, so that we'll be able to get derivative of this particular part. Okay, when I write this cube root as exponent, then I'll be getting the exponent 1/3 for cube root times e to the x power. Okay, now we can start finding derivative. So when I find derivative of this f of x, it will become f prime of x. But here we have a product of two terms, and both the terms contain variable x. Okay, whenever I want to find derivative of a product where both the terms contain variable, I have to use the product rule. So what's the product rule? Let's consider the product of two variables u and v. I want to find derivative of this one. What I have to do is, first I have to keep the first variable u as it is and get derivative of the second variable. Then it will become v prime. Now I have to take positive sign. I have to get derivative of the first variable and keep the second one as it is. So the same process I have to do in our problem. So we have to assume this is u and this is v. So we have to keep u, that is the first one, as it is. That is x square positive 7 raised to the power of 1/3. Now we have to get the derivative of the second one. That is, we have to assume this is v e to the power of x prime. Now I have to take positive sign. I have to get derivative for this one. That is x square positive 7 raised to the power of 1/3 prime. I have to keep the second one, I mean the e to the power of x as it is. Okay, then we get f prime of x equals to, now let me write this one as it is. That is x square positive 7 raised to the power of 1/3. When I find derivative of e to the power of x, still I'm getting e to the power of x positive. Now to get derivative of this one, first we have to do derivative for the exponent 1/3 using the power rule of derivative. So what is it? We have to bring this exponent 1/3 in front of the variable and subtract 1 from the exponent. Okay, now let me bring the exponent 1/3 in front of x square positive 7 and subtract 1 from this 1/3. So far I have completed derivative only for this exponent 1/3 using the power of derivative. That is, I got the exponent in front of it and subtracted 1 from the exponent. By chain rule, I have to do further derivative for the base x square positive 7. So by chain rule, when I do further derivative of this x square positive 7, I'm just getting 2x. Because when I find derivative of this x square, it will become 2x. The derivative of the constant 7 is 0. So 2x positive 0 is just 2x. And we have to write this e to the x power as it is. Okay, now f prime of x equals to x square positive 7 raised to the power of 1/3 times e to the x power positive 1/3 times x square positive 7 raised to the power of, I have to simplify this one. So that is 1/3 negative 1. So we can assume there is one denominator here. So to simplify this one, we need the same denominator for both the fractions. For that, I multiply both numerator and denominator of this one by 3. Then I'm getting 1/3 negative 3 divided by 3. Then we get 1 negative 3 divided by 3. Finally, I'm getting 2/3. So the simplification of this 1/3 negative 1 is negative 2/3. Let me write it out here. Negative 2/3 times 2x times e to the x power. Now we can plug in 1 for x over here, because our aim is to find the value of f prime of 1. Okay, now let me plug in 1 for x over here. Then I'm getting f prime of 1 equals to, so on the right side of everywhere I have to plug in 1 for x. Here we have x square. Then when I plug in x equals to 1, it will become 1 square positive 7 raised to the power of 1/3 e to the first power. I just plugged in 1 for x over here. 1/3 times 1 square positive 7 raised to the power of negative 2/3 2 times 1 e to the first power. Okay, now let's do some more simplification. F prime of 1 equals to, okay, 1 square is just 1. 1 positive 7 is 8. It is 8 to the power of 1/3 times e to the first power is just c positive 1/3. So here the same thing, 1 square is 1. 1 positive 7 is 8. 8 to the power of negative 2/3, and 2 times 1 is 2. E to the first power is just e. Then we get 2e over here. F prime of 1 equals to, and we can write this 8 as 2 to the third power, because 2 to the third power equals to 8. So now I have written this 8 as 2 to the third power. Since we have exponent 1/3, the same can be taken over here, times e positive 1/3, and the same thing we can do for this 8 as well. That is 2 to the third power raised to the power of negative 2/3 times 2e. Okay, here f prime of 1 equals to, okay, here we have base 2 and we have exponent 3, and for this complete stuff we have exponent 1/3. Whenever we have two exponents like this, so what we can do is we can multiply the two exponents, then I'm getting 2 to the power of 3 times 1/3 times e positive 1/3. So the same thing, we can multiply the two exponents over here, that is 1/3 times 2 to the power of 3 times negative 2/3 times 2e. Okay, here this 3 will cancel out, the same thing, 3 will cancel out, then I'm getting f prime of 1 equals to 2e. This is 2 to the first part is just 2 positive 1/3 times 2 to the negative second part times 2e. F prime of 1 equals to 2e positive 1/3. So here, since we have a negative exponent for this 2, it can be moved to denominator. When it is moved to denominator, so this negative exponent will become positive, that is 3 times 2 to the second power times 2e. Then we get f prime of 1 equals to 2 times e positive 1 over 3 times 4 times 2e. Okay, here 2 goes into 2 1 times and 2 goes into 4 2 times. Okay, now let me erase some stuff and continue the problem. Okay, let me continue over here. F prime of 1 equals to, we have 2e. Let me write this one as it is, positive. So here we can multiply this 1 and e. When I multiply this 1 and e, I'm just getting e divided by, and in denominator we have 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so here we can assume there is one denominator here. So now to add these two fractions, we need the same denominator. So that is, I have to multiply both numerator and denominator of this one by 6. Okay, let me do it. So when I do so, then I'm getting f prime of 1 equals to 6 times 2 is 12e divided by 6 times 1 is 6 positive e divided by 6. Okay, now we have the same denominator for both the fractions. We can take the denominator 6 in common, and we have to add the numerators. That is 12e positive e. So f prime of 1 equals to 12e positive 1e equals to 13e divided by 6. Okay, now I got the value of f prime of 1, that is 13e over 6. We find this stuff for exactly in answer choice D. The correct answer choice for this question is D.